Good afternoon, brothers. This is your boy Bill Mahari here, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast. Welcome to episode 8 of Basketball Conversations. Salute to the entire LDBC. Salute to the greater basketball community. We got a whole list of topics to talk about today on Basketball Conversations that you can see on the description box, and we're going to get right down to the chase with no time to waste. All right. So let's get started here, okay? So the tragic news going on in the NBA. Steph Curry injured his left hand against the Phoenix Suns Friday night. Okay, now his hand is basically was fractured and basically broken. Okay, so initially he was gonna be out for the rest of the season, but now according to other reports from Bleacher Report, the New York Post, that he will be signed on for at least 3 months after surgery. So there's still some hope that he might be able to return, back into basketball. Okay, but now the Warriors are going to be led by the $100 million man, Mr. Draymond Green. And I'm going to start this by saying this: Draymond Green, you know what I mean? The fact is, hey, Leon Robinson, how you doing though, man? How you doing? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this is going to be a huge testament of what the Warriors are going to be at this point. Okay. Now, the Warriors right now, they are basically restructuring and rebuilding. Okay. So, mind you, okay, they've lost Clay Thompson. They lost Andre Iguodala. Okay. And they ran Kevin Durant out of town. And I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Okay. Like the rant side of things. Okay. Now, the point that I'm trying to make to you is that the Warriors right now are basically restructuring their team. Okay. Now they don't look good right now, and unfortunately, Steve Kerr is being exposed right now for the coach that he is. Okay. Now you don't got the talent around you anymore. You got to prove what you can pull off. Okay. So the point is this. Okay. My big point is that this whole Warriors team is going to be exposed of what they are, okay? And you can all reflect back to last season when Draymond Green, okay? You can all reflect back to when Draymond Green cussed out at Kevin Durant in Los Angeles, basically saying, "You a little B word, we don't need you. We've been winning without you," that kind of thing. Okay? So the point is this. Kevin Kevin Durant made it very, very clear. He was going to be a free agent and he could do whatever he wanted to do. He was his own man. All right. After you, Draymond, begged the man to come over to Golden State after you got yourself suspended in the 2016 NBA Finals and basically cost the Warriors a championship, okay, because you decided to act stupid and try to hit LeBron James low, okay? Don't get me started with that, okay? The point is this. Draymond Green has been a guy that can never control his emotions and can't keep himself in check. And you gave the man $100 million over Kevin Durant? Please, bro. Miss me with the whole notion about that Draymond Green deserves $100 million when he haven't even averaged about 15 points a game throughout his career. Truthfully, though, this is going to show what Draymond Green is going to try to do. Okay, and I already seen what I saw. Okay, the guy whines, complains, and moans about everything. And he's the type of person that can't handle being the main guy. If he has to be the guy to basically lead the way, he's going to put too much pressure on himself and he's going to explode. He doesn't know any other way rather than just exploding in emotion. Okay? He's not a good shooter. Okay? He's undersized as a power forward. Okay? And you talk about, oh, I should have been multi-time defensive player of the year. Well, how about all those times when you were whining and complaining to the referees and never going back on defense? Okay? So I'm getting sick and tired of Draymond Green talking about he's all this when he hasn't even proved it on the basketball court. All right? Because if you don't got your main stars, if you didn't have Curry, you didn't have Thompson, you didn't have Iguodala, Durant, those guys, you would be out of the league, and that's a fact. That you was this close to be getting out of the league. Okay, and thank you, Leon Robinson. I was gonna get into that right now. He's talking about that his hand is his finger is injured out there. Like, get out of here, bro. You're just looking to cop out at this point because you know that the whole season is going to be tanked because you you think that this Warriors team is gonna be basically gonna suck the whole year, and unfortunately, it's looking out to be that way. In fact, before the injuries, I had them at least about 5 or 6, but now there's just no way they're gonna make the playoffs. There's no way they're gonna make the playoffs with this current structure of this roster. Okay, so this is really going to test who the Warriors are going to be like in the next few seasons. Because right now, you got to do a couple of things: get the main guys healthy, which is very important. Get your backcourt back together again. Number two, you better hope that you could pull off the huge jackpot in signing Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks during next year's offseason. And I doubt that's going to happen, but you never know. Okay. And Leon Robinson says, remember when he got mad about the Barkley comparison? Charles should have been the one irritated at that comparison. Thank you. Exactly. You damn right. Charles Barkley was way more talented than Draymond Green, even at his size. You think about this for a moment. Charles Barkley had a 5 to 6 year stretch where he led the league in rebounding, and the man was only 6'4". Okay, Barkley could do way more than Draymond Green could ever do in his entire basketball life. Okay, but Charles Barkley was unfortunately unlucky because he played in the '90s where Michael Jordan dominated the league. I mean, it's just there's no argument to that. If Barkley played in any other era, he would have 1 or 2 rings in his fingers. But that's not was the case. Yep. Right now, at this point, either they got 2 options. Either they're going to at least try to compete and try to at least make it interesting for themselves, or take the whole year and essentially, look towards the lottery and try to get at least one of those top draft picks. Yep. Leon Robinson says they need to suck good enough to get that lottery jack pick. Yep. And that's a fact. Yes, indeed, Leon Robinson. He won league MVP over Michael Jordan. Absolutely. I'll never forget that year. When he got traded from Philadelphia to Phoenix, he was the main catalyst to help lead that finesse Phoenix Suns team to the NBA Finals. And if it wasn't for a John Paxson 3-pointer, you never know. Game 7 between Michael and the Bulls, hey, anything's possible. But now I want to get into the next subject in hand here. Tunnel Vision, what's going on, brother? He said his Phoenix Suns season was good enough to win the title. He just didn't get it done. I agree. I think that 93 through 95 had some of his best years in the NBA. But one, he couldn't beat Michael Jordan, and then he lost to Hakeem twice. And both of those times against Hakeem, he was up 2-0 in 94 against Houston and blew that series. And then the next year in 95, they had the home court advantage and blew a 3-1 lead against the Houston Rockets. Both those years they won the championship. I mean, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. But the point is that the comparison between Draymond Green and Charles Barkley is utterly ridiculous. All right, Draymond Green is a guy that is not a scorer. Okay, never has, never will be. Okay, and he always acts on emotion. He never uses his head all the time. And the fact is that Draymond Green, if it wasn't for his spat in the 2016 NBA Finals, all right, the Warriors could have won 4 titles in a row. Okay, that could have happened. But Draymond Green acted stupid, and he cost the Warriors a championship. Now, let's get into this. Now, it's perfect transition to talk about Draymond Green. Is Draymond Green overrated? The answer, and I'm sure y'all know this, yes, he is. He's absolutely overrated. Okay? Fact is, the guy, let me just pull up this stat line from his previous game. Let's go ahead and let me just pull up the stat line here. Let's check it out. Draymond Green stat line. All right. Okay. Let's check out his stat line from from this year. Okay, let's take a look. Make sure I gotta find it. All right. All right. Now we just gotta find the box score. All right. Draymond Green throughout his career only averaging about 9 points per game. Okay. Now already 5 games into the season. Okay. 5 games into the season. Let's take a look. His last game against the San Antonio Spurs. Look at this: 6 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Okay. What's that? Was it a triple single? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you've never averaged more than 15 points your whole career. All right, and you're expected to basically carry the entire load now that Curry is gone. All right, so get out of here with that, bro. So let's go ahead and look at the chat real quick. Tunnel Vision says Draymond controls everything on the floor. He's the general. Without him, they win nothing. Okay, I do agree with that, but listen, the fact of the matter is this: yes, he does control the run of the floor, but the offense runs through Steph Curry. He's the point guard. So he's literally the guy that brings the ball up the court and controls the entire game. And yes, Draymond Green does keep himself accountable, and everybody knows what they're doing. I agree with that. But he's not, listen, he's not a kind of guy that is going to control himself in huge situations. Okay? I mean, look at the stat line. His highest total through the first 5 games was against the Pelicans, and he had 16 points in that game with 10 assists and 17 rebounds on October the 28th. Okay, but against Phoenix, the same game that Curry broke his hand, he had only 4 points. Okay, 4 points, 5 assists, and actually, see, 4 assists and 5 rebounds. And you're expected to make me think that this guy is worth $100 million. Okay, now, but now we're gonna see what this guy is made of. Okay, we're gonna see how this guy is going to really lead this team full with the type of unknown players and with only one legitimate scorer in D'Angelo Russell. All right. So, and Leon Robinson says it's Lonzo Ballish. And let me just say this about Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, man, he better start playing better. All right. I'm not impressed with what I've seen from Lonzo Ball so far. With his career basically on life support, there's no reason at all that this guy should not be putting up single digits. He should be averaging about at least 15 points per game and also at least 8 assists with only about averaging 1 turnover per game. That's my personal expectation for him. But here's the thing. All right. Lonzo Ball he has to play with more mental confidence. Yeah, meaning the stat line. I did. That's what I meant. He has to play with a lot of with confidence, because you have to remember what Magic Johnson said on Undisputed. Okay, last week, Magic Johnson said that Lonzo Ball has confidence issues. He doesn't believe in his skill set, and sometimes he takes himself out of the offense. And if you guys watch basketball as much as I do, y'all will notice that. Brooklyn Child Boxing, what's going on, y'all? Y'all make sure to subscribe to Brooklyn Child Boxing. That man putting in work though, bro. Real talk. Go ahead and subscribe to Brooklyn Child Boxing. All right. And I'm not interested in watching Sergey Kovalev versus Canelo Alvarez. I'm not watching it at all. It's a garbage fight. But that's not what we're talking about. So let's get back into focus here. So Draymond Green. Let's see his career stat line. Okay. I'm going to tell y'all his career stat line. Okay. Since he entered the league in the 2012-13 season, his highest stat total, it was the same year that they won 73 games. The man averaged 14 points per game. Okay. Decent numbers. Okay. And yes, he keeps everybody looking together. All right. But the problem is when the Knicks, I mean, I'm sorry, when the Warriors struggle, okay, his motor is low. Okay. And sometimes he goes out of control and he loses his emotion. Okay. So my issue was gonna be for Draymond is the Warriors are gonna be losing a lot of games. That's gonna be a given thing. So how will Draymond Green handle that kind of adversity? That's the big T that's gonna be one of the things you guys are gonna have to look for when the season progresses. Okay. So my take on Draymond Green is he's a decent player for his role with a lot of good players on. But now that he has to be the lead guy with Curry and Thompson gone for due to injuries. Okay. So we're gonna see what Draymond Green is gonna be made of. All right. And I don't believe, listen, of all the brothers in the LDBC that talked about Draymond Green, listen, I I basically don't jump to conclusions before I watch the game and see what he does. Okay. And if this guy continues to pull up single digits, okay, put up major single digits throughout the entire season, the word's out, bro. But it's not looking good for Draymond because people are basically putting the label that he's an overrated player, and I will agree with that. All right. Now he has to go out there and be that lead guy to set the example for all the other players on the team. And if he can't do that, then it goes back to running Kevin Durant out of town and basically making life miserable for everybody. All right. I mean, you look about this for a second. Draymond Green cost the Warriors a championship in 2016. He almost did it a couple of years ago. Okay, and then you got into a sparring match with Kevin Durant in Los Angeles last season. Okay, when Kevin Durant said, give me the ball," and you chose not to give him the basketball. So what do you? How am I supposed to trust a guy that can't control his emotions and can't control the words that he says? Okay, I don't care what he says to the media. That doesn't really matter to me. I care about what I see on the basketball court. All right, and unfortunately, man, Draymond Green has been way off the mark to start the season. All right, there's still time to turn it around, but it's not looking good right now. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Leon Robinson says, "I agree, bro. His motor is trash." Okay. Brooklyn Child Broxton says, "My Knicks are looking bad, Abil." Hey man, I know. And Brooklyn Child Broxton said, 20 years of misery. Hey, I I I I feel for you, man. I feel for your Knicks. But like I keep saying on my channel, as long as James Dolan is your owner of the New York Knicks, your team is not going anywhere. And that is a proven fact. And I will say this though. RJ Barrett is a very impressive rookie. Okay. But he can't you can't expect for him to basically carry the entire load. All right. Because that's too much pressure on a young man. Okay. So hopefully that that at least the Knicks will at least try to do something with this guy. Otherwise, it's going to be another Carmelo Anthony type of situation where he's carrying the load, but the team isn't going anywhere because the team does not have the talented pieces around him. And like I keep saying it many times, the Knicks will never ever win another championship as long as James Dolan is the owner. All right. They're only in the business, and that's just like what Tunnel Business just posted right now. He just said the Knicks is in the business of making profits and not winning. Stop buying the merchandise and going to the games. Exactly. All right. If you care about your Knicks winning games, okay, stop buying their tickets, stop buying their merchandise, don't even watch their games. All right, until the Knicks can show you that they're trying to put on a winning product. Because the fact that Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn and signed with the Nets, okay, that's a complete embarrassment to what the Knicks used to be. Okay, because when the Knicks, I used to remember when I was a child, all the other star players came to the Knicks. All right, when Charles Dolan was the owner too, with Dave Checketts, they built a very good team with defense, rebounding, and building around Patrick Ewing. Okay, but if they didn't run into Michael Jordan, all right, they would have at least 2 or 3 championships with Pat Riley as their head coach. Okay, so I need to stick to my script here, but I just wanted to talk. Just want to make the point that when James Dolan is gone, then they need a strong owner that's going to have a strong direction of where they can take this team. Okay, but like I said, they haven't met an owner or ownership group that is willing to give Dolan a strong consideration of selling the team. And just like before, the Knicks, James Dolan will never ever sell the team for as long because his team is the only one that makes him a lot of money, and everybody knows this. All right, so let's get back to this work here. Now, I wanted to talk about Trae Young and his amazing start to this season. I mean, I've been very very impressed of what Trae Young has been able to do to start the year. Okay, we're seeing we're seeing the evolution of now the next generation of point guards making their way into the NBA scene now. Okay, so truthfully, man, you know now that Trae Young is now the main guy with the Atlanta Hawks. All right, this guy has been putting in major work, playing over 20, almost close to 30 minutes per game, and averaging about 26 and a half points per game. The kid is it's a bona fide star in the making. Okay, but my hope is that they will build a team, a really strong team around the talent of Trae Young. Okay, this guy is excellent of shooting and also good at stopping on a dime and sending his teammates up. Okay, this is a very humble young kid, and I'm really been impressed with what this kid's been able to do with this Atlanta Hawks team. Okay, but we also have to consider the fact that the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks, had never had a true, bona fide franchise player other than Dominique Wilkins, or you could say Josh Smith to a certain period, or Joe Johnson, but they never had a star like the caliber since Dominique Wilkins and what we're seeing in Trae Young. Okay, and the fact that he's shooting at high percentages, though, bro, and came in into the same almost what time did he got drafted? He got drafted. He got drafted 2018. Okay, wasn't in the same draft class as Alonzo Ball. Let's take a look. I want to make sure to get this right. Nope, not it. Okay, so the 2018 draft class, you had DeAndre Ayton at number 1, who's going to be suspended for half of the year because of the failed drug test. Marvin Bagley of Sacramento, and then you got Luka Doncic and Trae Young. Okay, I'm telling you, Luka Doncic and Trae Young at this point right now. Okay, those two guys are slowly becoming the face of that draft class. All right, those two young guys have been putting in major work, and I've been very very impressed with what they've been able to do for their respective teams. Yep, I got it right. I got it right, Leon Robinson. I just had to make sure that I got it right. So my hope for the Atlanta Hawks is that they continue to make a successful team around the talent of Trae Young. Okay, this is a guy that continues to evolve his game, adding the 3-point shot, improving his passing, and limiting his turnovers too, which was one of the big things that I kind of saw a bit too much of when he was in Oklahoma. But now he's in the NBA, where it's basically a guard oriented style of play. He's got a really good chance of really making something big happen within his career, barring making sure that he doesn't have a career-ending injury or anything like that. Okay, but he has really been he's been a very humble young man. But I'm telling you, bro, if you had the opportunity to draft either Luka Doncic or Trae Young, looking back, you could not be wrong. You couldn't be wrong with either of those players, because both those young players are just phenomenal of what they've been able to do. Okay, but can you imagine the Dallas Mavericks with Trae Young and also with Kristaps Porzingis on their team? Boy, that would have been something interesting. But Luka Doncic, though, bro, has been living up to his capabilities and his skill set. So both those two guards, I have a lot of promise in the NBA, and I'm really been impressed of how they're able to handle the spotlight. But we'll see when they get into their third or fourth year about where their projection and where their direction is going to go. All right. So we'll see how this continues as this revolves. But even LeBron James has even been impressed with both Luka Doncic and Trae Young. Trae Young's abilities to start the year. All right. And it goes to show you that when LeBron James is basic career is done and when Kevin Durant's career is done, that the NBA is going to be in good hands because of these young players that we're seeing with Luka Doncic, with Coby White, and I'm gonna get into Coby White in a few minutes with Trae Young, R.J. Barrett, and Zion Williamson when Zion Williamson gets healthy. And I still believe that Zion Williamson will win the Rookie of the Year award, barring that the fact that he's going to be out for at least a couple more weeks with the knee surgery. But I truly believe that those guys are going to carry the torch for the NBA for the next generation, and I'm really been humbled about it. Now, oh yeah, Brooklyn Child Boxer, Trae Young is a beast. Oh yeah, I wish I had him on my Minnesota Timberwolves right now. They could use a guard right now that could really make things really open things up for both Andrew Wiggins and for Karl Anthony Towns. And let me just say this too about the little cat fight in Philadelphia. Friday night. Okay, that was a cat fight. Okay, both those guys are guys who do not want to fight each other. Okay, and I heard through some other sources there too, and also with the reads I've been seeing there too. All right, the thing is though, man. The thing is though, man, that listen, those guys, they're not the type of people that are gonna be looking to fight each other. All right. All they did was just grapple each other, and then just basically was a standard cat fight. All right. It wasn't serious. All right. But a 2 game suspension, was a bit harsh. I'll probably just give him like a maybe $50,000 fine. All right. And then just leave it at that. But really though, bro, it was really nothing. All right. I grew up in a period where listen, if you wanted to fight somebody, you throw your fist up and really fight. All right. Just ask Charles Oakley, Rick Mahorn. All right. Xavier McDaniels. Those were the guys that they will see you after the game if you try to start something with them. Okay. Because when they say I'm gonna see you after the game, listen, they literally mean that. Okay. And also, according, who also was another guy that was kind of that same life there? Charles Oakley, Rick Mahorn, Xavier McDaniel. Oh yeah, and Derek Coleman too. Derek Coleman back in the day, man. I'm telling you right now, those guys back in the day, if they wanted to get some blood at you, they're gonna meet you in the back, and hey, you gotta go. So I mean, listen, these players in the NBA today, they just don't have any understanding of what the league was like back then. And maybe I'm just an old school NBA guy that loves the old school mentality. If you got a problem with somebody, you can deal with them head up. All right. But that was just a cat fight. I wasn't even taking that seriously at all. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Yep, Leon Robinson. Make sure that I clarify that information. Appreciate it. Brooklyn Top Boxer says Trae Young is a beast. Absolutely. Now, Leon Robinson said Zion has me nervous. I could see a Brandon Roy situation. I hope he ain't out of the league before 25. I hope so too, because it would be a shame that a great talent like Zion Williamson had his career shortened out. And you know another player that also had his career shortened because of knee injuries. Do y'all remember Greg Oden from Ohio State? That 7-footer who basically was basically a revolutionary type of center back in the day too. And he was in the same draft class as Kevin Durant because remember, Portland held the number one pick in the 2007 draft. Okay, and they had two options to make: either draft Greg Oden, okay, or draft Kevin Durant. All right, and so this was almost in the same similar situation to the '84 draft when Michael Jordan was left on their board because the Rockets were going to choose Hakeem Olajuwon with their number one pick. But they drafted Sam Bowie because they already had a guard. Um, they already had a guard in Clyde Drexler, so it would have been difficult to put Jordan and Drexler on the same team together. Okay, but it really was a bad draft pick because Zambui had leg injuries galore and was never able to stay healthy throughout the majority of his NBA career. And unfortunately for Greg Oden too, his knees really derailed his entire career. He just never got himself going because those dang knee injuries, really took the life out of his game. Okay, and there were times where I saw Greg Oden putting up excellent numbers. He would average on a good night. He would give you 20 points, 10 rebounds, and at least 5 blocks. He was a really huge impact, but people saw the true talent Kevin Durant, and and unfortunately Portland just got unlucky. And you know what's so funny though too? Portland really got unlucky too, just like what Leon Robinson said. Brandon Roy, when he had healthy knees, was a top 5 player in the league. He was actually one of my favorite players and a guy that I wish the Timberwolves would have drafted. All right, we chose Randy Foy from Villanova over Brandon Roy. So, and also Michael Jordan drafted Adam Morrison over Brandon Roy too. So he was a guy that really, if he didn't have the knee injuries, okay, he would have been easily at 8 to 10 time All Star and would have been probably one of been an MVP candidate because that's how really talented he was. But those dang knee injuries really took it away though too. You could pretty much say the same for Penny Hardaway too, because both Roy and Hardaway had similar career paths, but had almost the same type of knee injury circumstances that really took away what they could have been. So that is what it is, though, man. So now let's get into the next subject in hand here. Yep, agreed. Leon Robinson, he was Rookie of the Year, definitely. So let's get into one of my favorite players that I like to see right now. One of my favorite rookies, Coby White. Okay, now Coby White, bro. I'm telling you, Coby White. Yes, he's had a little bit of quiet night since he had the 25-point performance against the Memphis Grizzlies. But I'm telling you, Coby White has a lot of upside to himself. Okay, he might be the steal of this year's draft because this is the kind of guy that is very very aggressive. Okay, he always likes to take it to the basket. He's very good with his shot selection too, but also despite the fact that I wish he would learn how to cut his hair. Okay, but right now, he's one of the big bright spots into a very, very slow start for the Chicago Bulls this season. So, I mean, this guy right now, he's coming off the bench, earning his minutes, which is basically the right approach for this. It's only a matter of time before this guy really starts. I think within probably in December or probably in January, when the Bulls are playing for nothing to lose or just looking towards the future, I say start Coby White and put him together with Zach LaVine, okay? Because that's a really good athletic two as the combo guard position that you could basically play out there with Roy Marketing, okay? So I've really been excited about with Coby White's potential, what he can do. Okay, he has really a lot of upside to himself. Okay, now the one thing that he needs to work on, from my view, is basically learning how to keep the motor in check and how to slow it down a bit. Because what I kind of noticed in the first few games is that he sometimes puts the engine in overdrive. All right, so the one thing that he's gonna have to learn is just slowly slow that engine down a bit and basically see the whole floor. But I'd rather give him that kind of advice than a motivated person that needs to get his engine going. And that would really create a lot of problems. So, but the point is, I've really been impressed with Coby White was being able to do. And certainly a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's playing with a bad team within my Chicago Bulls. But but as long as he gets more opportunities to play and develop his skills, I think the Bulls might have a diamond in the rough that they're gonna be looking forward to down the line. So we'll see how he does, though, bro. But I've been really, really impressed with Coby White so far in his rookie year. So let's get into the next point in hand here. Now, one of the things that kind of really that really been alarming to me in my head, and also this is something that Ticket TV is also talking about. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to Ticket TV too. So when the Toronto Raptors basically won their NBA championship, they had a decision to make. Okay. You had an up and coming talent in Pascal Siakam, but you also got one of the top three best players in the world, Kawhi Leonard, who wants to have Paul George on his team. All right. You know what I mean? Yeah, go check out Coby White, man. He's really an impressive rookie that you got to keep your eye on as the season progresses. But one of the things that it kind of alarmed to me is that, Pascal Siakam was a very improved player last season that really helped the Raptors in very different ways. But to me, I really struggled to think why did the GM Masai Uri decided to give a max contract to an up and coming player rather than just invest with two all stars that you could probably repeat as, okay? Because you knew that at some point in time that you're gonna have to make the decision on restructuring the team. But I would really, really, really have to ask Masai Uri this question. Were you really considering of keeping Kawhi Leonard on the team? Okay. Because if you were considering of keeping Kawhi Leonard on the team, you should have used the upside of Pascal Siakam in a trade to try to lure in to get Paul George. Okay? Because can you imagine what the Raptors would be like right now with both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the team? I'm telling you, they would be the favorites to win another championship this year. But unfortunately, that's not the case, and they chose to stick with the potential future in Pascal Siakam over getting Paul George, who's already one of the best two-way players in the NBA. And you're seeing what he's doing for the Clippers right now. Because the Clippers right now are playing this correctly. They're managing the minutes of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, okay? And now you got complementary pieces that revolve around those players, okay? Patrick Patterson hitting corner threes, being a presence in the paint there. Patrick Beverley being an instigator, okay? And basically Lou Williams is playing his role as a sixth man. I mean, things are going perfectly for the LA Clippers right now. Okay. So right now the Raptors are doing, just okay to start. But I really think that they could have had a better opportunity to really make a huge splash for a championship if they would have just went for the throat and go after Paul George to complement with Kawhi Leonard. Okay. You know what I mean? It makes much more sense because if you got two outstanding two-way players on your team right now, okay, to go along with with Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet, Marc Gasol, and Serge Ibaka on your team. I mean, it makes much more sense, and you're still going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league right now. So I don't know, man. It's just I really struggle understanding the logic of what Masai Uri was thinking and not committing himself to getting Paul George and basically resigning an up and coming talent, but probably an unproven one at that in Pascal Siakam. That's the way I kind of see it. But I want to get into the second to last subject in hand here, and that is the Sacramento Kings. Right now, they're winless, and it's not looking good right now. I'll tell you that. And I actually really had high expectations for that Sacramento Kings team, as young as they are, to really make a splash for the postseason. But everybody kept saying, "Don't trust Luke Walton. Don't trust Luke Walton." And you know what? They're right, because quite frankly, Luke Walton really is being exposed of what he is. Okay, listen, the guy is not good at managing his rotations and not good at managing his substitutions. All right. and he drives his starters to the ground. And right now, the way I kind of see it at this point, if they don't at least win one game, or if they at least don't even turn this whole ship around, Luke Walton's getting fired even during the season. Because I don't think Vlade Divac is going to stand there and basically let this Sacramento team that had a lot of good young talent in Marvin Bagley, uh, Buddy Yield, and also one of my favorite young players, uh, De'Aaron Fox, basically lose their morale because their coach does not know what the heck he's doing. All right, and listen, just because he was basically the interim coach when Steve Kerr was out due to spinal fluid issues. Okay, and the point is, listen, any coach in the NBA, when you got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson, you got a team that won 73 games that year, anybody would any of them would have looked good. But when he was in LA, he basically mismanaged minutes with his guard rotations. When he was in LA too, he basically played more of the veterans more instead of going to more of the young players right now. And I'm seeing the same thing in Sacramento too. Okay. His substitution rotations, his scheming is just absolutely bad. All right. And they really need to make changes. Okay. Yep, Leon Robinson said them rotations were ass last year too. Absolutely. And Brooklyn Child Boxing said, I thought the Kings were going to make some noise this year. Me too. I actually had them as my A seed in the playoffs. But right now, I'm telling you, Luke Walton may be out of the job if they don't at least win a game. I mean, at the way it looks right now, they might be heading themselves as the worst team in the NBA right now, barring what happens to the Golden State Warriors too. So, I mean, it's just looking bad for the Sacramento Kings, though, man. And I hope that they can find a way to turn this around. But Luke Walton is really being exposed, and things are not looking good. So, and I wanted to say this though too. So now we're done with that subject here. But let me make another point though too. I remember the Sacramento Kings with Weber, with Divac, with Doug Christie and Mike Bibby. They were the most exciting team in the NBA to watch. And if it wasn't for those crooked referees in the 2002 Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, the Kings would have made it to the NBA Finals and beaten the Nets. All right. That 2002 West Finals was eventually the NBA Finals because nobody in the East that year was going to beat anybody from the West. All right. So, and then basically after that devastating Game 7 loss, the team went to a downward spiral. Weber tore his knee up. Okay. And basically, though, man, then in 2004, they had one more opportunity against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But by that time, Garnett had the best season of his career and led the way in one of the best performances I ever seen. I was there at that Target Center that night when he had that 32 points with that 21 rebound performance. Okay. I mean, he was playing at another level, and Chris Webber couldn't do anything about it because his knees were shot. So, and then after that, the team broke apart, and they were never the same since. They tried to rebuild with Tyreek Evans and DeMarcus Cousins. That didn't work out. They were just a team that just could not find it to get itself together until they got those other young guys. But now it's like, come on, you got three good young players you have on your team, and you hired an overrated coach in Luke Walton, who's horrible at substitution rotations and offensive scheming. Get out of here. Hey, Nitty J, what's going on, sister? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day today. So, the other topic that basically has been wandering around my mind though lately is about the Houston Rockets and how hypocritical of an organization they are. Starting with James Harden, who basically flops nonstop. Listen, y'all can call me a hater, James Harden. I do not care. But listen, James Harden, yes, he's won an MVP award, and maybe he could have won last year's MVP, but Giannis had a way better year, and no one can dispute that. But the fact is that the Rockets, with their whole analytics driven movement, have not even won a championship. They had two cracks against the Golden State Warriors, and you failed both times. And the way you disrespected Carmelo Anthony is absolutely asinine. Okay, Carmelo Anthony should be in the NBA right now, and because of the political BS that Darren Moore has spilled on Carmelo Anthony, now he can't even get a job in the NBA. Absolutely disgusting. So I'm at my wits end when it comes to the Houston Rockets because I don't respect how they do their business though, man. Yes, they are a very talented team, and I have no problem with that. But man, listen. When you got James Harden and Russell Westbrook, they just need to find a way to just work together and share the basketball every time. And every time James Harden, what does James Harden do? And yes, Nitty G absolutely agreed. What does he do? He takes about 7 to 8 dribbles and then takes a difficult step back 3-pointer off of one leg, which is something that many coaches at any level of basketball rebel against. I mean, come on. You aren't honestly going to tell me that this guy, James Harden, is better than Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, who's one of the most efficient players in the history of the game, and was already a defensive player of the year, multi-time All-Star, 5 MVP, 6 championships. Do I need to keep going? Okay, so get out of here with that, bro. I just don't have any respect for the Houston Rockets organization. I don't have a problem with them in terms of their team, but the way that they conduct their business, I mean, get out of here, bro. It's just completely ridiculous of how they do business there, and the fact that they just completely crap on Carmelo Anthony's name is beyond disgusting. This is like Carmelo Anthony is a future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, and you're telling me that a first ballot Hall of Famer doesn't deserve another job in the NBA? Are you kidding me? Get out of here with that. Absolutely get out of here with that. And also, to the people who all had the wrenches, though, make sure to share this channel on your social media platforms and try to keep this channel growing. I'm going to continue to do my part to put more live streams and to construct some videos together. All right. So if y'all could do that for me, that'd be fantastic. And let's keep the likes up. We got 7 likes right now. Let's keep it going. So now we're getting to the home stretch of this show. So we're going to talk about the historical topics that we got here. Okay. So the NBA 75th anniversary is coming up in a few years. 75th anniversary. And that's going to be in 2022. And ironically, it's going to be in the same places where they had the 50th anniversary, and that's in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. So I know that the NBA is going to once again do another 75th anniversary all team. Okay. Now, a lot of players were left off of that 50th anniversary team. Okay. But now we got a chance to make it right. Okay. So when that 7th anniversary team comes in and when they announce their historical players, okay, they better put Dominique Wilkins into that list. Okay. He was wrongfully jobbed in 1997. Okay. This guy was basically one of the best scorers during the 80s and basically one of the most athletically gifted forwards during the 80s. All right. And the fact that this guy was left off the board and basically was put in by Bill Walton, who spent most of his career on the injured list, and then Scottie Pippen, who was basically off of the coattails of Michael Jordan. Okay. I mean, come on. And even Shaquille O'Neal was only in his what? Let's see, 92, 93, 93, 94. In his 5th year in the NBA. Okay. Is only in his 5th year in the NBA and just had his career started, and he was already on the 50 greatest players of all time. I mean, are you kidding me? All right. So the point is this. I truly believe that Dominique Wilkins needs to be added to the list. Okay. Adrian Dantley. Okay. Because he was an MVP of the NBA that year. Okay. You better put in Allen Iverson there because if you don't put Allen Iverson there, I mean, that's just be ridiculous. Okay. All right. Who else should deserve to be in that same list though, too? Let's see. Um, So I said there too. Ray Allen better be in there as well. Okay. And also Reggie Miller too. Reggie Miller should be added to the list. Now I can understand why they wouldn't want to put Reggie Miller into that 50 greatest players list yet, which is understandable. I'm not gonna blow over smoke with that. But to me, Dominique Wilkins better be added to that list. Yeah, and yes, Leon Robinson, he should have been added to the dream team too. The fact that you had Chris Mullen there on the team, the fact that they put in Chris Mullen on the team instead of Dominique, get out of here, bro. And Isaiah Thomas not on the team too because of political reasons. Get out of here, bro. And to top it all that, they put Christian Laettner in there instead of Shaquille O'Neal. All right. And just blow me with the smoke with that. All right. So now we got a little bit more people here. Let's go ahead and read the chat right now. Okay. Leon Robinson said it's because the referee stopped giving him the whistles in the playoffs, and he talked about Harden. That's a fact. And he also said his predicated game is on the referees. That's right. And on the 50th anniversary thing, Shaq was premature, absolutely. And then he also, Leon Robinson says they disrespected Dominique in that dream team as well. I know, exactly. And Brooklyn Child Broxton said they need to put in Stephon Marbury. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I know you like Stephon Marbury, bro, but I can't stand him. Forget him. Nitty G said a lot of people feel that Scottie Pippen should have been on that team. I agree. I definitely listen. I'm a Bulls fan, okay, but even I would say to myself that I would put Dominique over Scottie Pippen over that on that team because Dominique did a lot more in the A's. And remember, Pippen was only what in his fifth to sixth year in the NBA, and basically was not even reached his peak yet. I mean, that's just what it is, though, bro. Come on. Oh yeah, TJ Wilkins, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the channel, though, bro. In fact, you're also a good supporter, though, man. Let me wrench you up. There you go, TJ Wilkins. Now you got a wrench. Leon Robinson says Starbury. Don't know, bro. And then Leon Robinson says Leitner over Shaq. Right. I know, right? Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I respect Christian Laettner for what he did in college. Okay, it's not easy to do what he did in that entire college ranking. All right, but here's the point. Here is the point. Okay, Leitner's game was not going to be translated into the pros because he was a 6'10" forward who couldn't bang with anybody. And Shaquille O'Neal came in there, 7-footer, 300 pounds of pure muscle in your face, dunking at you all the time. And you're telling me he didn't deserve to be on the dream team? Get out of here, bro. Listen, if he won that dream team right now, he'd be dunking over everybody. And that's a fact. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, I know you were just messing around, Mr. Brooklyn Child. He said, I'm messing around there, Leon Robinson. I'm a Marbury fanboy. Exactly. Nitty G says Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant in that 75th anniversary. Oh, yeah, they're going to be in that list. No doubt about it. Listen, Garnett, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, they were basically my child, basically growing up where those three guys really were the faces of the NBA during that period, okay? Those guys is definitely going to go in. No doubt in my mind. If one of them even gets left out, something's wrong here. Leon Robinson says, word, bro. That's right. TJ Wilkins says, gives a thumbs up. Yep, no problem, man. Leon Robinson says, I think honestly they wanted to send some white dudes to Barcelona. You know what though, bro? I wouldn't doubt it at all because they were basically going to a foreign country where maybe they weren't accepting the black people at that time, but I don't know. But listen, if you give me that roster again, the roster of what it was, I take John Stockton out, put Isaiah Thomas in there. I take Scottie Pippen and put in Dominique Wilkins in there. Okay. Now, that leaves me with another decision. Obviously, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were going to be on the team, but Bird was basically done. He was done because his back injuries were just completely messing him up. But if I had to choose another player that deserved to be on that team though too, who's another player that deserved to be on the team besides Dominique? Dominique, Shaq. I mean, what else could be put in there too? Who's another good player that should have been on the dream team too? I mean, they could have put in Akeem Olajuwon there too and replaced one of the most big guys. I mean, that's another that's another possibility. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Who else should have been on the Dream Team One? Brooklyn Child Boxer says, "Real talk though, I wish he never left Minnesota. They could have been a greater team. They could have had, but I'm gonna tell you this though too. On the same draft night in '96, the Timberwolves drafted Ray Allen, okay, and traded him to Milwaukee for Stephon Marbury. That right there, that's a team you build around with. Okay, I never trusted Marbury for a second because I always felt that Marbury wanted to be his own man. Okay, it's just common logic. Ray Allen was going to had much more upside and had much more capability as he matured into the player that he became. And can you imagine having Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves instead of years down the line when they were together in Boston? I mean, come on, bro. I mean, let's be real here. I would rather have Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett on my team than Stephon and Garnett. Okay, that's just me. But this is coming from a Minnesota person that's been suffering a lot with this Timberwolves team, and the fact that the Timberwolves drafted 2 point guards, Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio over Steph Curry. I mean, it is what it is. TJ Wilkins said Akeem wasn't American yet in '92. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Thank you, appreciate that. I was just thinking about who else deserved to be on the team. If you guys have any other names that deserve to be on Dream Team One, let me know in the chat. So, Leon Robinson said too that they'll put Nash in the whiskey in too. Nash could be a tough case, could be a possibly tough case because they were greater point guards than him. But Nowitzki, absolutely, he gets it in. 75th anniversary team, absolutely. He was one of the best European players during that time, and finally earned his wing in 2011. And I'm gonna tell you this though too. In 2011, when the Raptors were down by 17 in Game 2 against the Miami Heat, I immediately changed my channel because I thought, you know what, the Heat got this wrapped up. It's pretty much over. But when the league got cut down to 10, I just said, okay, I guess I'll stick around. And then I watched the Mavericks basically come back from the dead and steal Game 2. That right there was the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. But more importantly, that was the series that basically set the tone for how the series was going to be. Because I believe in my heart of hearts that if Miami wins Game 2, they're up 2-0, and they had multiple opportunities to close out that series. All right. So that Game 2 was very historic and much more significant looking back into it now. Leon Robinson said Wade will go in. Oh, absolutely. Dwayne Wade, let me tell you something, okay? Dwayne Wade was in the Metrodome in 2003 when his Marquette team was in the regional finals. Okay, I watched this guy on television basically tore up the entire NCAA tournament. Okay, putting that Marquette team on his back and leading them to the Final Four. And Paul Pierce had the temerity and the unmitigated goals that Paul Pierce was, but basically he was better than Dwayne Wade. Last time I checked in his college career, his Kansas team got eliminated in the Sweet 16 against Arizona that went on to win the national championship, that beat 3 number 1 seeds to win the national championship. Okay, so that right there already proves one thing, that Wade was way better than Paul Pierce in college. That's number one. Number two, you had to wait almost a decade for Paul Pierce to win his first championship when he had Garnett and Ray Allen on his team. When Wade, when he was drafted in 03, 04, 05, 06, 3 years in, okay, 3 years in, he already won a championship and was finals MVP. So Dwayne Wade already accomplished a championship in his 3rd year in the league. And you're telling me that, and Paul Pierce to be telling himself that, oh, I'm better than Dwayne Wade. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. And Leon Robinson, you right, bro. Paul be tripping. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't listen. I don't take anything seriously to what Paul Pierce says most times because sometimes I think his ego is bigger than his intellect sometimes. And listen, if Garnett didn't injure his knee in the 2009 playoffs, the Celtics win back-to-back championships and maybe three in a row. If they didn't let their egos and their pride get in the way of what they could have been as a team, because that team with Rondo, Pierce, Garnett, and Allen, that's a team that could have won 3 championships. All right. So Nitty G also said Dirk is another one that should be on that 75th anniversary team, but I'm not sure about Paul Pierce. Yeah, Paul Pierce is a very, very tough case because there were a lot of players that accomplished way more than what Paul Pierce did. Now, I'm not saying that Paul Pierce is not a Hall of Famer because he is, but there's just way too many. There was just way too many players that did a lot more during his period than what he did. So yeah, that's going to be a tough case to swallow when they decided to vote for their teams. So we're now entering into the home stretch of my show here. So I'm going to talking about. Oops, I made a mistake there. I may have to change it a little bit, but it's okay. But I want to talk to you guys about the most underrated player in the history of basketball that's not in the Hall of Fame. And today's player is going to be, towards the drum roll, please, Chris Webber. And let me tell you something. Chris Webber's career was nothing more than historic. Okay, listen. Despite the fact of what happened in Michigan, okay, Chris Webber was a win. Was basically helped his team win and get them to that level of reaching in for a championship. When he was a freshman in Michigan, 2 straight trips to the national championship. Okay, 2 straight trips to the national championship game, and unfortunately, the '93 team should have won against North Carolina, but it is what it is. But when he first came into the NBA, he already won Rookie of the Year and helped lead the mediocre Warriors to the NBA playoffs. And if he didn't, and if Don Nelson would have not been stupid and try to convert him as a center, then just let him play his natural position of power forward, then the Warriors could have been something special with Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin, Latrell Sprewell, and Chris Webber on that team. Oh, that could have been something great. But it didn't happen. But let me tell you something too. Yeah, they put Rod out over him last year. I know. See, I'm gonna get into the Hall of Fame thing in just a few minutes. But when he got traded to Washington, he helped lead the Washington Bullets to their first playoff appearance in a long time. Okay, and then he wore out his welcome in Washington, and then he didn't want to come to Sacramento, but he got traded there, and he had no interest in being there. But when Weber was in Sacramento, he was arguably one of the top 5 best players during that period, and helped lead that Sacramento team from mediocrity on the doorstep of the NBA Finals. He had some of his best years of his career when he was with the Sacramento Kings. That right there is a great accomplishment. All right, because listen, Sacramento as good. Sacramento was not even a good team then, and they weren't even a good team when Rich Richmond was their main star. But when Weber came in with Divac in the fold there too, and then you were building the team with those 2 guys with Peja Stojakovic, and then you had Jason Williams for about at least about 3 years until they traded him for Mike Bibby. But listen, that 01-02 team was probably one of the best teams in the NBA never to win an NBA championship. And like I said before, if it wasn't for those crooked referees in that Western Conference Finals in that Game 6, the Kings would have been in the NBA Finals. You mean to tell me 27 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter? Are you kidding me? The average quarter of free throws in an NBA game is at least 10 to 12. So it's just disgusting. And then, unfortunately, 02-03, he was having another great year until he had this infamous knee injury during the playoffs against Dallas. And then basically his athleticism basically was gone. But listen, that team, though, bro, those teams in Sacramento were the best of Chris Webber and at his full peak. And unfortunately, he ran into the duo of Shaq and Kobe. I mean, just like everybody else did during that time. But listen, the fact that this guy has not been put into the Hall of Fame along with Tim Hardaway is absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? I mean, it's mind-boggling that Dino Nahar, what's his name? Dino Novich from the Celtics. Actually, how are you saying that? Dino Raja got into the Hall of Fame because of his international career instead of Chris Webber. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Listen, you're telling me that Dino Raja is better than Chris Webber? Get out of here, bro. That's to me right there doesn't even sound right to me. I mean, that is ridiculous. So, Brooklyn Chalbas asked the question: do y'all think that Rasheed Wallace is a Hall of Famer? Unfortunately, no, because yes, he was talented during his time, but basically he wasn't that consistent enough to really put himself out there. Now he was one of the best talented power forwards during his period with the Detroit Pistons and the Portland Trail Blazers, but he never averaged about 25 points a game throughout his career, and besides that, he led the NBA in technical fouls. And that's going to be in consideration when they decide to put this list there. Now, it would be great to put him in there, but I just don't think that his resume is strong enough to at least have any consideration of putting him on that list of great players of all time. Because you got to remember, when you're talking about a 75th anniversary team, when you talk about when you talk about any anniversary team in any realm of sports, you have to put in players and coaches that are no doubt first ballot. You know, if you think about Hall of Famers, you think about this guy or that guy. And unfortunately, Rasheed Wallace falls way short on that list. Yes, he was basically one of the best talented power forwards at that time, but to be honest with you, I think he falls short in that category. So let's go ahead and check out the chat. Leon Robinson said that I check I feel with Rasheed, but they're gonna keep him out though. Okay. Leon Robinson said Bobby Jackson and Hito Turkoglu. Oh yeah, those guys were great off the bench still too. Oh, no doubt about it. Leon Robinson said, Paul Gasol going in as well. If he were from Kansas, no chance. If he were from Kansas, no chance for me. In fact, though, bro, listen, Paul Gasol, as good a player he was, listen, if we wouldn't trade from LA and basically didn't hang up with Kobe, Paul Gasol would not have been in the discussion there too. But I think that his time with the Lakers, basically playing with Kobe is going to really give him much more of an advantage for him when it's time for him to be in that discussion there too. He's a 50-50 probability in my book. So we're gonna get into the last discussion there too on this show there as well. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the when the NBA started changing defenses there. But y'all hold on one second. I gotta take care of something real quick. Real quick. All right, guys, I'm back. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Liam Robinson, I'm saying that's true. Okay, true. I'll take that. And Lee Robinson said 2004. Absolutely. Yep. So now I'm going to get into that last subject in hand here before I wrap up this show. Okay. A lot of you basketball observers know that the NBA at this point is a no defense type league. Now, when you look back of how this all changed, you got to go back towards the early 90s. Okay. When the NBA started finding, teens for physical play, flagrant fouls, okay? But one of the key things that you had to also look for was back after the 93-94 season, okay? The NBA decided to take away hand checking, and they started implementing illegal defenses where you can't zone one particular player without the basketball, okay? You had to basically double team the guy with the ball. and you can't, saddle in one specific area. Just like how you could do the 2-3 zone in regular basketball and shadow one specific area on the floor. In the NBA, you can't do that. But when they took away zone defenses, when they took away hand checking, okay, and when they took away the physicalness of the game after the 90s and then basically in the mid 2000s, basically what they did was that they opened up the court for more scoring. But in a sense, you took away the physicalness of the game. You took away the physicalityness of the game. You took away the ability for guys to basically put their hands on ball handlers. Okay, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just the point is that if these guards right now today were playing in the old school rules of the NBA during that time, they would not be averaging about 30 points a game. They would have to work their butts off to get their shots off. You think Steph Curry would have had any opportunity to dribble behind the legs, do all that shimmy shaking stuff in front of Isaiah Thomas, in front of Magic Johnson, in front of those beast guards back then? Are you kidding? They would hound him at every single opportunity. Gary Payton would meet him at half court and make him put the ball on the floor. And Gary Payton had great hands, great anticipation, and knew how to get into your head. Okay? So, unfortunately, the system of the NBA caters to the guards. And unfortunately, it's a sad, sad thing. But what I'm trying to say is that you got to go back towards the 90s when they started implementing illegal defense, when they took away hand checking, when they took away zone defenses, and what they also implemented was the flagrant fouls, where you can't hard foul anybody towards the basket. If you didn't go for the ball, if you're basically trying to knock the player down from the air, that's a flagrant foul. And you know what? There have been a lot of those, and I agree with that kind of rule. I have no problem with that. But you took away hand checking, you took away zone defenses, and you basically took away the physicalityness from the game. So now, even if you sneeze on a player, they'll consider that a foul. You can't put your hands on somebody. I remember last season where LeBron James put his hand behind his back in front of the referee, trying to show up the referee and say, okay, I got my hands off. What you going to do? You going to call that a foul? Listen, let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something right now. The league at this point, though, bro, all the young players in the league during that old school time, they would not been able to be able to do all those crazy shots because they would have forced you to play their style of game. And only a few players in this league that probably can survive that. LeBron James could because he's a freak of nature. Okay, Kevin Durant may push him out the blocks there too, but you can't block his shot when he shoots over you. But Steph Curry, basically dribbling his legs and all that stuff, so bro, stop. That ain't happening. Okay, that will never ever happen. And listen, Shaq during that time, and TJ Wilkins made a good point. They stopped Shaq from bulldozing people too. You know why? Because Shaquille O'Neal was the most hardest player to officiate because the dude was so big, he could bully you in the paint and basically could throw his elbows up. Now listen, do y'all remember the 2001 NBA Finals when they went up against the Philadelphia 76ers? There were a lot of times in that same series, Mutombo would try to play post defense, and Shaquille O'Neal would throw his elbows up and back his rear end towards Mutombo. And listen, the guy is just big and powerful. I mean, it's going to happen when you base it against a guy who's 7 foot and 350 pounds of muscle, and he's basically pushing you back. There's nothing you could do about that. But the point is that the NBA is catered to more of a guard oriented league, not the big guys anymore. And it's just unbelievably sad. I'm telling you, would any of these guards at today's NBA would have survived with those kind of rules? I don't think so. Leon Robinson says Chris Shaw would have beaten his A word. I bet. You know what? Listen, that was a weak 1-2 piece that he did on Kobe, but Kobe gave him an elbow towards the throat. So I mean, hey, listen, Chris Child is the only thing he's been remembered for is that he fought with Michael Jordan and fought with Kobe Bryant, and he got ejected both of those times and got torched by Tim Hardaway. So, yeah, you know what I mean? So, I mean, to conclude the show, to conclude my point of topic here, Kobe. The thing is, if you bring back those rules in the NBA, I bet you a lot of fans would respect the basically the work that players have to do to get their own shots off. I'm not a fan of this whole high scoring thing, thinking that people are here to see offense. Yeah, to the casual fans, they do, but to people who watch this game for a long time, like myself, Ticket TV, Two Roll for TV, a lot of other people who watch the game for a long time, listen, we don't respect that kind of scoring because listen, just like what G. Steven Jackson said on one of his videos on social media. How many players in the NBA today actually play physical defense? Give me a couple names. Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, okay, and Rudy Gobert. How many players that act in the NBA right now that actually play legitimate defense? Okay, in a league where it's was customized to the offense. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, let's be real here. All right, the NBA took away defenses because they wanted to see more scoring. But in a sense, there you made the product just a bit more weaker to many players who respect the game for a long time than a lot of the other casual fans. So save your sympathy with that. So that's just how I this is how I kind of see it though, bro. So now we're at the conclusion of this show here. So I want to thank all you guys for sticking around with me. Oh yeah, and Patrick Beverly too. I almost forgot about Patrick Beverly. Thank you, Leon Robinson. So let's see: Jimmy Butler, Patrick Beverly, Rudy Gobert, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. 5 players in the NBA right now that actually play legitimate defense. I mean, what can you say? What can you say? I respect Steven Jackson though too. He always keeps it real. He don't care what he don't care what anyone else thinks. He always going to keep it real and always going to keep it honest. And I respect him about that though too. So, but I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this up there too, guys. I want to thank all you guys for sticking around with me throughout the whole show. It was a lot of fun to go through a lot of these topics though too. My normal times is normally Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So we'll be back next week, same time, Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Okay. But tonight, uh, tonight I'm going to go out and celebrate my birthday. My birthday's on Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead, hang out with some friends, and just going to go out and have a good time. And tomorrow I'm going to go into, what it feels like to me to make it this far to 27 years of life on this earth. So y'all stay tuned in for that. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out. Okay. Salute to the entire LDBC. Make sure to share this channel to all your other social media platforms, and make sure that everybody gets in sync of MehariNation Sports Podcast though too. So don't miss the UFC 224 card tonight. Okay. And also don't miss if you guys are interested, Sergey Kovalev versus Canelo Alvarez. I'm not watching it because it's garbage. But either way, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Basketball Conversations, Episode 8. Thank y'all for your participation. So this is Bill Mehari, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast. Salute to the entire LDBC, and thank you for your support, your continuous love and support of this channel though too. So we're just going to continue to grow and make things happen. And thank y'all for the birthday compliments. I really appreciate it though too, guys. Real talk. So y'all stay safe. Enjoy your Saturday evening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night, you guys.